I think it's really terrible that some people seem to admire him, like him. And I was happy to see that it wasn't specific to this gentleman that was killed. It's just an overall sickness as opposed to a specific sickness. That was a terrible thing. It was cold-blooded, just a cold-blooded, horrible killing. And how people can like this guy is, that's a sickness, actually. That's really very bad, especially the way it was done. It was so bad, right in the back. And very bad, thing like that. You can't believe that some people, and maybe it's fake news. I don't know. It's hard to believe that that can even be thought of. But it seems that there's a certain appetite for him. I don't get it.
There's a certain appetite for him. I don't get it. And look, we've seen these look-alike contests. They're playing him in nightclubs. Evita, to my mind, President Trump, he calling it an overall sickness. It's the exact right take. Tell me what's going on.
Trump is, as always, right over the target, Jack. And what I've been feeling about the reaction to Luigi, and by the way, what you're seeing on Twitter doesn't even compare to the lionizing of this murderer on TikTok and Instagram Reels.
We actually have some of the TikTok clips. We're going to be playing them as you talk.
They've gotten out of control. I mean, your viewers are going to be shocked. But I think what this is a sign of civilizational decline. It's a sign of a sickness, like Trump articulated. And it doesn't even matter his ideology, right? People have been trying to pinpoint what does he believe? Is he a right winger? Is he a left winger? And to me, it doesn't even really matter, because he is somebody who is clearly not grounded. He is somebody who has lost faith in our institutions. He's somebody who is experiencing, the failure of the healthcare industry, but also massive wealth inequality in this country. I know that he's from a well-to-do family, but he says, he had these back issues and it was unaffordable. And so I think what this is a revolt against our failed.
Evita, not only is he from a wealthy family, but there is every indication that the family he's from is wealthier than the victim.
That's why it doesn't even matter, Jack, to try and figure out what's his motivation. What it is a sign of social sickness. And that's why this Trump admin is so imperative to me, because we have an opportunity right now to take back our culture, to take back our civilization, to bring optimism back into the country. You can see there is a sickness, there is a propensity for violence, there is chaos, and it's not just social, it's not political, it's actually in the hearts and the minds of the public. And that's what makes it so scary.
It's a spiritual sickness, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I mean, and you think about this young man, Jack, he's somebody who had this back pain, right? And the Catholic answer, my mom's answer, would be, give it up to God, right? And there would be, a real purpose to one's life. People don't have that anymore. People don't have purpose. People don't have grounding. And so an inconvenience, a worldly inconvenience, even something really painful, I guess this young man's back injury was a huge deal for him, is life-altering, life-changing, life-ending, and this self-hatred, this disillusionment manifests in, I think, violence oftentimes.
Well, that's right. And by the way, the back situation, we're still not even entirely sure. I mean, a lot of people seem to think, and obviously there's been reporting that that's when his mentality changed on a lot of things. And he had this huge break. He goes out to Hawaii and he's in this psychedelic community. And then he goes out to Japan for a couple of months, stops having contact with his regular family, which seems to have a big Italian family. Nothing surprising there. And Evita, of course, about big families as well and big family life. And the idea, though, that it was related to his own healthcare always struck me as a bit odd. But what I would go back to is this faulty thinking of the left and the faulty thinking of the left. And I wrote an entire book with Joshua Lysek earlier this year on humans, the secret history of communist revolutions, and how to crush them. And the central thesis of that book was that these individuals, and by the way, there's an entire chapter on the Spanish Civil War, which of course Evita, used your work on that and your family's story, which we cited in full and gave you credit for it as well, that it's not about justice. It's about envy. It's about greed. It's about anger. It's about petty resentment. And that is where these things are animated and festering from. It is a spiritual sickness, or as President Trump called it, an overall sickness today. He said, it's sick. What I saw was sick. This doesn't help anyone. It doesn't advance anything. It's disgusting. And as someone, by the way, who was also the victim of not one, but two attempted assassinations just this year, I think President Trump is correctly identifying that this is a spiritual sickness that has leaked out of mainstream media, of movies like Parasite, which won all the Oscars just a couple of years ago, that are directly focused on killing people who other people believe are basically the enemy class.
Jack, you hit the nail on the head with resentment. And that is really what we get force-fed if you're a young person in America from, elementary school and on. It's oppressed versus oppressor. You're constantly figuring out who has more than you, who is better off than you. Even somebody like this young man who comes from a wealthy family finds a way to turn himself into a victim. And that kind of resentment is so destructive to you personally, to us, to our country socially. And I think Democrats are recognizing that right now. I mean, this is what they've presented to the public. And in response, Trump it's optimism, it is innovation, it's individualism, it's excellence. And on the flip side, you have this collectivist, this depression, this demoralization that I think is so poisonous to society. And hopefully in these next 4 years, we can turn it around.